Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about how I study in med school and the different resources I used this past year. I want to give a huge thanks to Sketchy Medical for partnering with me on today's video. They're such a great online resource that I've used really ever since I first started med school. I truly love their products and I'll be talking a little bit more about them later on in this video. Also make sure you stay tuned to the very end to find out how you can enter this really exciting giveaway that I'm doing with them. Make sure you stay tuned so you can figure out how to win. Alright, well let's get into the video. So the first two resources I want to talk about are PathOMA and Boards and Beyond. These are both online video resources that basically take complex pathways or disease processes and really breaks it down into a way that's easy for students to understand. These two resources are how I do the majority of my learning. I know some people prefer to attend lectures and learn from the lecture or learn from PowerPoints. For myself, I found that I just learn better with these standardized online video resources that I know are tried and true and that I know med students all across the country are using too. So PathOMA, as the name suggests, focuses more on pathology of different organ systems and diseases, whereas Boards and Beyond is more all-encompassing. It talks about pathology, but it also talks about anatomy and physiology, embryology, pharmacology, basically any ology you can think of. For anything pathology related, I think PathOMA is just the go-to must-have med student essential. When you buy a subscription to PathOMA, it actually comes with a hard copy book. That book follows along really well with the PathOMA videos. So whenever I'm watching a PathOMA video, I have my PathOMA book in front of me and I'll go ahead and just follow along and highlight and annotate and also draw diagrams as I watch the video. That active learning process really helps me to learn the information well and understand it and retain it. Now for Boards and Beyond, I actually decided not to purchase the books that it comes with. There's a different book for every organ system. I think on Amazon they're only about $4 to $8 or $10, so they're not too expensive, but if you buy one for every organ system, it could start to add up. Also for myself, I just didn't want all my notes in all these different books, so what I actually do is I watch a Boards and Beyond video and I'll actually annotate my notes into first aid. So that brings me into my next resource, which is first aid. I'm sure many of you guys already know about it or have heard about it before. First aid is basically the ultimate, or one of the ultimate study guides or study resources for step 1. It basically contains everything you need to know in this one little book. Well, it's actually not that little, it's kind of big, but in this one book is everything you ever need to know for your exam. It's really nicely organized, divided by organ system, and within it there are different subsections by anatomy and physio, embryology, pathology, pharm. It's just very clean and organized and very easy to follow. What's also nice about first aid is that they have little mnemonics or learning aids to help you remember things. So what I like to do is I like to watch a Boards and Beyond video and annotate directly into my first aid, and also anything from PathOMA that I feel first aid doesn't have or that I just want to emphasize or add in, I'll go ahead and just mark it in my first aid as well. And basically my first aid is like my baby. As you can see here, basically looks like organized chaos. There's a ton of highlighting, ton of underlining, lots of different arrows here and there, and also post-it notes with different diagrams, memory aids, or pathways that I've drawn out. I personally like to have all my notes in one place, so I found that my first aid book is a really good place to keep all of that. So the next resource I want to talk about is Sketchy. So Sketchy actually has 3 different branches, I guess. There's Sketchy Micro, Sketchy Pharm, and Sketchy Path, and all 3 are included in a Sketchy Ultimate subscription. So what Sketchy is it basically uses visual aids to help you learn and remember information. I think it's actually easier to understand if I show you an example, so I'll do that now. Basically, you go into the Sketchy website, then into Sketchy Micro. You can click on the bug that you're learning about. So let's say we're learning about Staph aureus. Click on the bug and basically this sketch comes out, and it's a big picture with a lot of symbols and characters and just things going on. But basically they've created a storyline that ties together all these different elements. Every single thing inside of this one big picture correlates to something that you need to know about that bug. So for example, this picture again is about Staph aureus. The name of the sketch is the golden staff of Moses. So you can see that purple robe. I guess Moses is wearing a purple robe. Whenever you see prominent purple features, you know that that bug is gram-positive. So Staph aureus is gram-positive, so that visual aid is there to remind you of that. In the bottom middle, you can see a gray cat. So whenever you see that cat in a Sketchy video, you know that that bug is catalase positive. In this case, Staph aureus is catalase positive. positive. In the bottom left corner, you can see a rock in the shape of a nose. That actually means that Staph aureus commonly colonizes the nares or the nostrils. And so as you can see, Sketchy really uses these visual aids to help you learn. And I know what some of you guys are thinking. You're thinking, how the heck do you remember all those tiny little details? I'm never gonna remember that there was a little rock on the bottom left corner in the shape of a nose. I know it seems crazy, but somehow it works. They just do such a good job of integrating the storyline with the bug, with all the different things that are going on within that scene. And it really feels like you're watching a cartoon or a comic or something. It's a really great way to just change things up a bit and also learn so much information in the meanwhile. Also, these guys are so funny. They crack jokes all the time in the videos, and it's just a really nice break from the traditional studying style, I guess. Overall, I would highly recommend that any med student or anyone just learning microbiome or pharm or path check out Sketchy products. I think it's something that a lot of people can benefit from. Even at my school, most everyone uses Sketchy to some extent, and I would say most people are pretty obsessed with it and they love it. You can even see me using it in my very first day in the life video, and other med school vlogs as well. I really used it all throughout my first year, and so yeah, I would highly recommend that you guys check it out. If you do decide to purchase something and want to save a little bit of money, you can use code Sophia15. That right here. Code Sophia15 for 15% off your purchase. It'll help you save a little bit of cash, and hey, you'll get a really great product out of it. The next two resources I want to talk about are USMLE RX and Kaplan. Both of these have question banks, and I primarily use them to take practice tests. I think practice tests are such an important part of any study routine because it really tests how well you know the material. It just gives you so much information about how you're doing. With these two question banks, I think they're good for different reasons. The USMLE RX is definitely easier than Kaplan in my opinion, mostly because it's more first or second order questions, meaning if you have a question stem with a patient with XYZ symptoms, the question will be asking what is the disease or what is a drug used to treat that disease. So first or second order. Whereas with Kaplan, the questions are much more advanced and harder. You're seeing more second, third, or even fourth order questions where you'll have the same question stem about a patient with XYZ symptoms, but now they'll be asking you what is a side effect of the drug that you're using to treat this disease. So you can see it requires just, one or two steps further, maybe thinking a little bit more and just pulling on different areas of knowledge. I think overall it's a really great resource, and from what I've heard is pretty comparable to what you might see on your STEP exam. I also want to mention that I know that UWorld is a really popular resource as well. I think most people start to use UWorld in the months leading up to their STEP exam. For me, I haven't used UWorld at all actually, but I'm sure I'll be getting lots of experience with it this coming year as I prepare for STEP. More on that later, I guess. And then lastly, I just wanted to mention one final resource, which is Anki. For those of you guys who don't know, Anki is a flashcard program that uses spaced repetition to help you learn and retain information. What I will tell you is that people either love Anki or they hate Anki, and I'm definitely in the love group. I think Anki for me has been such a game changer. It's helped me retain information so much more quickly. I think it's such a good tool for every med student or just every student in general to use, and I love it so much that I'll probably do a whole video dedicated on how I use it, what decks I use, and how you can use it as well. And yeah, look out for a video in the future about that, I guess. All right, well, those are all the resources I wanted to talk about today. I think most of the ones I mentioned are pretty well known and well used by most med students across the country, but I just wanted to mention them here just in case you've never heard of them or just were curious of what I use to study. All right, well, now it's time for the really fun part, which is the giveaway. Like I said, I'm partnering with Sketchy Medical on this video, and they've decided to give away 2 3-month subscriptions to their online products for 2 of you guys watching out there. To enter, all you have to do is 1, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and 2, leave a comment down below about really anything. It can be an interesting fact about you, what you like or don't like, I guess, about my videos, even just video suggestions or questions that you have for me. Each comment will only be counted once, so even if you comment 50 times, you'll only be counted once, so let's make my job a little bit easier and just comment once. For 2 additional entries though, you can actually follow me on Instagram at Sophia Han, and also post about this video or just my YouTube channel in general on your Instagram story, and make sure you tag me in your Instagram story so I can see it and count it towards the giveaway. The giveaway will go from now, the day that this video is uploaded to 1 week after. All right, well, thanks so much for watching, and I really hope this was helpful in some way, shape, or form, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.